Hey guys, my name is Jamin. Thank you for visiting my YouTube channel where I try to bring you a wide variety of computer DIY, upgrade, and repair videos. In this video, I'm going to be working on an Acer Chromebook C720 series computer. The exact model is a C720-2103, but this should apply, the procedure here should apply to any C720 series laptop. In this video, I'm going to show you how to open the computer, access, and replace your motherboard. Okay, so first thing to do when getting in any computer, shut it off, unplug the power adapter, and remove the battery. Our battery's inside, so we got to take off our panel first. But you want to do those things because you want to have as little power running through the computer as possible to limit the chances of damaging anything. So first thing we're going to do now is go across the bottom panel, take off all the screws that we can see. Keep in mind, guys, when you're going into a computer, keep the screws that go to certain parts of the computer together and keep them separate from the other screws. Not all screws in a computer are going to be the same size, so you want to keep your bottom case screws together, your battery screws together, motherboard screws, whatever screws you have in your computer. Keep them together so you know where they go when you're reassembling the computer. Now that all of my screws are gone, I'm going to take my small flat pry tool. I'm going to go along the seam of the bottom case and the palm rest and pry up this bottom case. Just as a quick shout out, guys, the anti-static pad that I'm using, you see it under the computer. That's to prevent any damage to computer components when you're getting into it. Either an anti-static pad or an anti-static bracelet are great ideas when working on a computer. So for those supplies and also any tools, screwdrivers, pry tools, anything that you guys need help with, check out the link above. It'll be a referral link to a lot of the tools and supplies I use in my shop if you want help finding any of those things. So when you're putting your pry tool in there, make sure you don't go too deep. You don't want to damage any components by going too far in, but you basically just go along the outside seam and separate them. Once you've got it mostly off, you should be able to just muscle it out the rest of the way. Again, be careful, you don't want to break it. Once you've gotten it all free, it'll come off like this. There are no electrical components here, it's just a panel. So now you can put that off to the side. And now you see the inside of the computer. You have your battery, your motherboard, your fan. So now we're going to unplug the battery. Okay, so to remove the battery, it's fairly simple. You've got a screw here and a screw here. On mine, it's broken off, so I may not need to, I don't need to remove that screw, but you have two screws here you'd have to remove, and the battery plugs in right there. So I'm going to take my Phillips, I'm going to unscrew this battery, and then it unplugs right there. I'll zoom in a little more so you can see that port. So there's your battery port. The battery port is black and metal, and the battery plug that plugs into it is white. And if you guys look at yours, there's two little arms that come out from the white port. So you can put your fingernails there and push, or in my case, I'm going to take my flat pry tool. I'm going to push off on one side at a time, and that battery comes right out. Just like that. Over here, you have your solid state drive. I'm going to take my Phillips screwdriver, undo that single screw. After that screw is undone, we're just going to take the solid state drive and pull it back just a little bit. It comes undone, and then you wiggle it out from underneath these metal arms that are holding it down. So there's your solid state drive to this computer. So now I'll remove the fan and the heatsink assembly so you can see how to get that out. We'll again take our Phillips screwdriver and start undoing the screws. There's one here for the fan. There's one here for the motherboard, and one more screw under here for the motherboard. After those screws are up, we see the fan is plugged in right there, and also the antenna wire coming from your Wi-Fi card. The antenna wire are run around and through that fan. So to get this fan out, you have to unrun those antenna wires. Get them free. And then once those are free, you have to unplug it from the motherboard. That's the exact same kind of plug we saw over here with the battery. I'm going to take my small flathead pry tool and push on one end at a time until that plug comes out. There we go. It's held on by some tape, so you can just rip that up. And then we can put it back down when we go to put the fan back down. But now that fan and heatsink should be free. So there's your fan and your heatsink assembly. Now that this is out, you can clean out your fan. You can clean off your thermal paste, put some more thermal paste down if you're looking at an overheating issue. If you're looking for a replacement, you can see some part numbers here. This is a DC 5 volt. The part number right here, K4915L. So you can look for this part number if you're trying to replace this, or again, search for a part number that's compatible with your model computer. Get the rest of the motherboard out. We're going to need to unplug everything from it. So again, here we have your Wi-Fi antenna wires. We're just going to snap those up from the Wi-Fi card. Next thing we're going to want to do is take up these 3 ribbon cables. One's coming from your touchpad, one's coming from your keyboard, and one's coming from the USB board over here. So I'll zoom in now and show you how to safely remove those. So these are all held in the exact same way. They're a black port on the motherboard. There's a white clip on top of it used to secure the ribbon cable, and then the ribbon cable slides under the white clip. So to take these out, they're all going to be the same. I'm going to take my flat plastic pry tool and slide it underneath the white clip. This white clip snaps down to hold your ribbon cable in and pops up to release it. So I'm going to slide my flat tool in there and then push up. And that white clip comes up and this ribbon cable can now be released. After I release it, I'm going to push this clip back down for safekeeping. You don't want anything catching on that or breaking it. If these break, they're extremely hard to replace. If you do accidentally break one of these off, you'll have to replace it. It's very hard to get a ribbon cable to stick back in without that fastener. I'll have a video link above. I'll also include it in the description where you can get these and install them onto your motherboard if you do need to do that. So now I'm going to repeat the process over here. Just pop that up, slide the ribbon cable out, pop that back down. I'm going to pop this one up. It's a little smaller, but it's the same thing. Ribbon cable out, put that arm back down. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to remove to get the motherboard up is the LCD cable here. It runs through the hinge up here and plugs into your motherboard. If you notice on yours, there's a sticker that goes over the cable onto the port to hold it in place so it doesn't get loose. So we're going to have to gently peel that sticker up and peel it back to be able to pull out that plug. And then just like the other plugs, I'm going to push off one side at a time with my plastic pry tool to get this plug out. Nice and gentle. You don't need to force it. There we go. So now that's out. So after that's out, I have my last screw there for the motherboard. I'll take that out now. Oops. I forgot that screw there. Oh, and I did forget one plug, the speakers. So I'm going to take my little pry tool here, push off from each side. Again, just like the other ones. There we go. So now my motherboard is free. There's your motherboard. Flip it over. That's what it looks like. If you guys are looking for a replacement motherboard and you flip it over, you'll see there's a model number right there. It's DAOZHNMBAFO. I'll have that below in the description as well, but that's how you would access your motherboard. So that's the video, guys. Pretty straightforward. It's not too complicated, but it does help to watch a video first, help to know what you're getting into before you start taking your computer apart. Any questions, check out the FAQs below in the description. It could save you some time getting an answer. If you have to leave me a question or comment, please do. I do try to address those as often as possible. Please remember to like and share if this was helpful. Subscribe if you enjoy do-it-yourself computer content. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I look forward to seeing you on my next video.